Welcome, everybody. My name is Cynthia Cortman Westfall. I'm the chair of the Musical Theater Department, and I am so happy to see all of you here. Thank you for joining us in person. Thank you for those who are joining us through the live stream. We are really thrilled that you could be here with us today. If you saw the beautiful memorial on Monday or scrolled through the many tributes on social media, it is so clear that Gavin's life was, in the words of the great Sheldon Harnick, a glory beyond estimation. We could spend forever trying to capture the impact that he has made on all of us, and we would not succeed. So today we are choosing to largely focus on the Michigan connection that continues to bind us to him and to each other. Whether you knew him as a classmate, a student, a colleague, whether you worked alongside of him, whether you studied under him, or just grew up listening to his recordings and watching him on stage or on YouTube, his enduring love and support for Michigan and the connections that he made here have united the multiple generations that we see in this room today. Gavin brought light, art, and silliness into our lives. He inspired us to live more fully, to love more deeply, to create more boldly, and as he often said, to get off your damn phones and just be present with one another. There's a story Gavin tells about a quote that he found that prompted him to get his very first tattoo, the word both. The quote was uncredited, but here's what it said. "Everything is both, wonderful and terrible, boring and exciting. It's okay that it's both, obvious and hidden, simple and complicated. What a relief that everything can be both, light and dark, celebratory and melancholy." As we come together today as a Michigan family, we are living in that world of both. Deep grief and profound gratitude, holding the weight of our loss alongside the memory of Gavin's effervescence. Today we celebrate Gavin, who was both a student and a teacher, a colleague and a friend, a very serious performer and the ultimate mischief maker. We may cry, but we will also laugh, and thank goodness we can do both. There's another story that I want to share with you that Harris Schwartzberg tells about a time that he asked Gavin for advice on finding a singer for a memorial service that he was planning. He said, "Gavin, if money were no object and you could get any singer in the world, who would it be?" Gavin thought for a moment and said, I love all of the other performers, but obviously I would want me. So, throughout today's celebration, Gavin will be taking center stage where he belongs. And this first video that we will be showing you offers a glimpse into the reasons why he chose Michigan way back in 1994 and why he remains so deeply supportive of this school through the years.
So why did you make that decision?
I was like, the reason why I did it?
Yeah.
The people. I came to the school to visit. I looked at Carnegie Mellon University and I looked at Michigan. And I remember I was backstage at the Power Center for the Performing Arts and they were doing a dress rehearsal of The Most Happy Fella. And I'd never seen a college, but I'd seen community theater in my high school productions. And this woman, Whitney Allen, who was my senior buddy when I went to school there, she came on her rollerblades and she came blasting around the corner and smashed into the wall, and the head of the program, there's a picture of him in the collage, Brent Wagner, was very behaved and very strict. Whitney, go to your dressing room, it's time to get ready for the school. She goes, "I'm so sorry, who are you? You're Gavin, nice to meet you." And I was like, I have to go to the school. Like Whitney Allen and the people there were just so kind and open and wild and creative, and those are like all things I wanted to be as an actor.
Felt like a fit.
Yeah,
Clearly,
total
right?
fit. Yeah. But the greatest gift of it was getting to get on that stage in an outfit that I really loved and give a speech. That was what I wanted to win more than anything.
What about that speech?
I'm so proud of it. am one of the proudest things I've ever done.
You thank people real close to you.
What I did was I thanked the people who helped pay for my education, and I encouraged people to give money to scholarships. I was like, I have 90 seconds. That's what they said. From the minute your name is called, you have 90 seconds. That's why people truck it down the alley.
To get there and then speak?
And they will play you off, baby. They will play you off. And the week before, I was lucky enough to win the drama desk, and they played me off. And it was my friend Dan Lipton at the piano. And I was like, I have known you for 20 years. How dare you play me off? And he's like, sorry. And I was like, so I knew the next week, I said, do not get played off on national television. And I didn't. But I practiced what I was going to say because I didn't want to get played off. And I know that when I speak extemporaneously, I say fuck. And I was like, you cannot say fuck. Your mother will literally have a conniption. So I practiced it. And people were like, oh, you should speak off the cuff. And I practiced it, and then I did speak off the cuff at one point. But I was proud of that moment because I knew for one little second, like all the toads on the lily pads were all going to go and look at me for like a second. And I knew I had a chance to say something. I wanted to mean something. And getting up there and thanking all the people, I was like, I thanked a couple people, you know, the producer and my dresser. I thought that's everybody. That's across everybody. But I was like, I'm gonna talk about scholarships. Yeah. And I'm gonna walk that walk. I'm really proud that Celia and I gave money to the Michigan. It's tiny, we didn't give that much. Yeah. But we have students who are able to go and do what we did by connecting with them and giving them some cash. And again, they can't probably buy 2 books at the University of Michigan for what we gave, but we're going to keep trying to grow it. And as we get more successful, we're going to try to dump more money into it.
They're going there, right?
They're going.
But I want to dedicate this, oh my goodness, to the musical theater department at the University of Michigan School of Music, Theater, and Dance. My education there as a young person changed my life forever. My professors, my classmates, they instilled in me an appreciation for what it is to be an artist and what it is to be lucky to be a part of this incredible community. If you're out there and you have money, and I know a lot of you in this room have a lot of it, start a scholarship. Change someone's life the way that Art and Marty Heron changed mine. My mom and dad, I love you so much. Henry, I love you so much. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker has been a valued member of our faculty for over 30 years. She taught ballet to Gavin and the whole class of '98 when they were first-year students, and she continues to teach our first years today. Please welcome Judy Rice.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you. And in my original draft, I wanted to come out here and tell a joke and do my best Brent Wagner imitation. But in walking out here now, sometimes you just gotta throw the lesson plan out. I need everyone to shut your eyes. Everyone backstage as well. Just take in this moment of love and gratitude. Now open up your eyes and take note, because you know how you look back on something like 10 years later and you say, wow, that was such a special time. I wish we knew then, right? This is one of those days. Treasure it and hang on to each other. I met Gavin in the Power Center rehearsal room 30 years ago, where he came in to take my ballet class. And give me one moment because my notes are mixed up. I'm caught up. I have a story. I was kind of waiting for you to plop down on the floor, though. Sorry. All right. So, about a couple of years ago, Linda and I are on the phone, and we're talking about something, and she says, Gavin has a surprise for you. And I'm like, for me? And so about a week and a half later, I'm at my hair salon, and at this time, I was really, really blonde. Now, for those of you who don't know what that entails, it entails a lot of foil and a lot of bleach. And you're out here like this, right? And then on top of it, they put this like UFO like swirling heater around you. And I look in the mirror and I realize, boy, I look like I could receive messages from Mars. Phone rings. It's Gavin. And I think, why is Gavin calling me? I'm the one that calls him in the middle of the day to hit him up for house seats. So I'm sitting in my hair salon. We start talking. He says, Judy, dance got a new building. Yes. Is there a theater in that building? Yes. Are there seats in that building or in that theater? What? Look around you. Are there not seats in this theater? I have no idea where he's going with this. It might be the bleach. So he has to spell it out for me. And he says, no, Judy, I donated in your name a chair in the dance department. Well, in total Judy fashion, I start sobbing uncontrollably. I'm heaving forward and back, and the foils are going. My hairdresser told me afterwards she thought I was having a seizure. And when I looked around at the ladies in the salon, they were looking at me like this, like, oh my God, she really is receiving messages from Mars. Then Gavin says he also donated a seat for Linda. Let's take a look at that plaque. Their friendship and love and collaboration documented not just in writing, it's engraved and it's embedded in a brand new building that's going to be here for a really long time. Then he delivers the coup de grace. He says he insisted that our chairs be together. So let's take a look at that. Go visit. So now, let's look at my plaque. Really, Gavin? Dance belts? For those of you that don't know what a dance belt is, it is the balletic version of a jock strap. In writing, engraved, embedded, for a really long time. Gavin, I thank you for the love, friendship, kindness, generosity. I could go on. Your talent, your voice, and your wicked sense of humor. In closing, Gavin and I had a really nice moment at the reception of Maize and Blue on Broadway, and I got a chance to congratulate him and his team on how they captured the true essence of Brent's time here as chair and our experience. And he said, you know, I wish we had known then how special this was. And I said, well, you know what? We know now. You know what, Gav? You really brought this one home. We really do know now. Thank you. Moving forward with this event, Gavin was cast in many roles at Michigan. Among these, Harold Hill in The Music Man his junior year, and Anthony in Sweeney Todd when he was a senior. He even played Helena in A Midsummer Night's Dream. But unfortunately, we couldn't find any footage of that. What you're about to see are videos from Gavin's time here as a student, starting with a brief clip from his freshman year and ending with a complete number from The Music Man. These are all a little blurry, but they're rare and haven't been seen in public before. As you see, Gavin was Gavin from the very beginning. Please enjoy.
No more talk of darkness, forget these wide-eyed fears. I'm here, nothing can harm you. My words will warm and calm you. Let me be your freedom, let daylight dry your tears. I'm here, with you beside you, to guard you and to guide you. 76 strong bones led the big parade with 110 cornets close at hand. They were called rows and rows of the finest virtuosos, cream of everything's band. 76 strong bones caught the morning sun with 110 cornets right behind. There were more than 1,000 beats bringing up the light beats. There were horns of every shape and kind. There were opera, timpani, and horse platoons, thundering, thundering all of the way. Double bell euphoniums and big bassoons. Each bassoon having his big band say, there were 50 mounted cannon in the battery, thundering, thundering louder than before. Clarinets of every size and trumpeters improvise a full octave higher than the score. I will steal you, Joanna. I'll steal you. They that walls and hide you. Even now I'm at your window. I am in the dark beside you. Buried sweetly in your yellow hair. I feel you, Joanna, and one day I'll steal you. Till I'm with you, then I'm with you there, sitting there in your yellow Sweet dreams be yours, dear, dreams there be.
110 cornets maybe.
I wish I may, and I wish I might. How could that, my someone? Either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friend. Right here, I said trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, I'm a billiard player, certainly mighty proud to say I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider that the hours I spend with the cue in my hand are golden. Now we cultivate horse sense, and a cool head, and a keen eye. Did you ever take and try to give an ironclad lead to yourself from a three-rail billiard shot? But just as I say it takes judgment, brains, and maturity to score in a ball-playing game, I say that any move can take and shove a ball in a pocket. And I call that slot. The first big step on the road to the depths of dignity as it first. Medicinal wine from a teaspoon, dead beer from a bottle. And the next thing you know, your son is playing for money in a pitchback suit. And listening to some big artist on Jasper, hearing him tell my horse race gambling. Not a wholesome trot race, no, but a race when he set down right on a horse. I just see some stuck-up jockey boy sitting on Dan Patch. Picker Bud Boyle, well, I should say. Now, friends, let me tell you what I need. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus to the table. Pockets and work. The difference between a gentleman and a bum, with a capital B and that rhymes with P, and that stands for fool. And all week long, no River City, you'll be frittering away. Say, go way down in Natalie, frittering away. They're noontime, supper time, short time too. Get the ball in the pocket, never mind. Get the dandelions pulled, scream your catch to the beefsteak pound. Never mind pumping any water to your parents or caught with a sister empty on a Saturday night. And that's trouble. Yes, you got lots of nights of trouble. I'm thinking of the kids in the Knickerbocker shirt tails youngins, digging in the pool hall window after school. Trouble, folks, right here in River City. Trouble with a capital T and that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. Oh, I know all you folks are the right kind of parents. I'm gonna be perfectly frank. Would you like to know what kind of conversation goes on when they're loafing around the hall? Let me try out people, trying out cubits, trying out tailor-mades like cigarette teeth, and bragging all about how they're gonna cover up a telltale breath with sense. And one fine night, they leave with the ball heading for the dance and the army, liberty men, scarlet women, and ragtime. Shame these things ain't gonna drag your son, your daughter to the arms of a jungle animal and sing mass stereo. Friends, the idle brain is the devil's playground. Trouble.
Oh, we got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here in River City.
Capital T and that rhymes with P and that stands for fool.
That stands for fool.
We surely got trouble.
We surely got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here.
Gotta figure out a way to keep the young ones moral after school.
Our children's children gonna have trouble.
Mothers of River City, heed the warning before it's too late. Watch for the telltale signs of corruption. The moment your son leaves the house, does he rebuckle his knickerbockers below the knee? Is there a nicotine stain on his index finger, a dime novel hidden in the cord crib? Is he starting to memorize jokes out of Captain Billy's whiz-bang? Are certain words creeping into his conversation? Words like swell and soldier old man. Well, if so, my friends, we got trouble.
Oh, we got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here in River City.
Capital T and that rhymes with P and that stands for fool.
That stands for fool.
We surely got trouble.
We surely got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here.
Remember the names Plymouth Rock and the Golden Rule.
Our children's children gonna have trouble.
Oh, we got trouble. Great, terrible, terrible trouble. That gate with the 15 numbered balls and the devil's tool.
Devil's trouble.
Oh, yes, we got trouble, trouble, trouble.
Oh, yes, we got trouble. Here, we got big trouble.
We are so honored to have so many members of the class of '98 here. The 20. Your presence is a testament to the special bond you share with Gavin and to each other. Thank you for being here, and thank you to Erica Shannon, who will be speaking on behalf of your whole remarkable class.
Something you need to know about the class of '98. We walked onto campus and took over. We were loud, obnoxious, bold, enthusiastic, and we owned the joint. Immediately. Class of '97 is still pissed. true. 20 very big personalities, as is par for the course in musical theater. And we're all very, very different, but we had Gavin, and Gavin was our nucleus. Gavin Creel burst onto the scene, fresh out of Findlay and show choir. He was a lanky, floopy-haired Midwestern puppy, and we all fell in love with him immediately, and that was before he even opened his mouth to sing. And when he did, well, you know. When Gavin sang, the outside world disappeared for him. This was never more apparent than when we lived together sophomore year. 200 North Ingalls was an old medical clinic turned disgusting student rental property. There was a room in the basement full of trunks of abandoned medical records where Gavin would go at night to practice. He rigged it up with twinkle lights and would sing until 2:30 in the morning. And I would bang on the kitchen floor for him to please, for the love of God, stop and go to bed already. But that was Gav, ever on his own timeline, laser focused on the process, working hard to nail the phrasing for "on the street where you live." Or "today is the first day of the rest of my life." Even in the wee hours, it was impossible not to love him for his enthusiasm, but it was definitely not impossible to be annoyed at his timing. Gavin loved being creatively weird, and he didn't care if he looked good doing something. One year, he and Catherine and I went as a literal pile of shit for Halloween. We did. He was full of, "Ooh, wouldn't it be fun if," and "let's just go for it." He loved to blast Madonna's Ray of Light and get weird and breathless. He explored both toilet humor and organized religion with equal and abundant zeal. Upon trying something new, he would proclaim, "I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, but who cares? Let's just do it and see what happens." He was the ultimate yes personified. Even at our 20th and 25th reunions, which Gavin was largely responsible for organizing, his appetite for play and mischief was still very much intact as we played silly games into the night and laughed until we peed our pants. And like really peed our pants because we're in our late 40s. Wow, I didn't think that would get such a laugh. I don't feel so alone. How amazing that we got to grow up together, isn't it, you guys? And growing up is hard. In the last 30 years, our friendships have deepened beyond what we ever could have anticipated when we were at Michigan. We've held each other up through failed relationships, shit jobs, growing families, aging parents, national crises, and now devastating loss. To the current students here, I feel Gavin would want me to say this to you. A lot goes on in college that stays with you for a long time, and some things hurt. But if you stick together long enough, you realize that what you thought was a big deal in college isn't important anymore. And you gain enough perspective to know how to accept each other and how to heal. This place and this bond is sacred. Please remember how lucky you are to have each other. Gavin knew that, and he taught us that too. When we were together for our 25th last year, Gavin opened up a dinner conversation about healing. He invited us to share a regret, a hurt, disappointment, or failure that we had during our time here at Michigan, so we could help each other heal. He shared things with us that we hadn't known before, and we followed suit, and it did heal us in so many ways. Looking back, knowing where we are now, I am so deeply grateful for that conversation. through the 30 years that we were blessed to know Gavin, no matter how bright his stars shone, he was always available and present to the 20. When we were still in school, he would send us silly photos of ourselves as postcards over the summer with words of encouragement. Years later, he would tell us how brave we were as we shared our decisions to walk away from our theater careers into new dreams. His words eviscerated our imposter syndrome. His belief in us a balm that could cure anything, because when Gavin said something, he meant it. He never took communication or kindness for granted. He was the kindest of all of us. He was our leader and best. But just to keep things spicy, he was also raunchy. This is the point in my eulogy where the department kindly asked me to edit some details out of my original version. But I'm going to say it anyway. And where I remind everyone that it was a different time and we were all very comfortable with one another in many ways. Yeah. Anyway, it was the 90s. We were finally liberated from our Gen X latchkey lives and we were free. And Gavin loved it as much as we all did at the time. And yeah, he was so raunchy. And so it's no surprise that since he passed, he has been sending the 19 of us signs in the forms of phallic symbols. This is true. It all started the day after he passed. We got a message in our WhatsApp group from Margie. Hi, Margie. And she said, when I was walking this morning, I saw 3 separate things in the cement that looked just enough like dicks to make me giggle. Normally, I would send such photos to Gavin, but perhaps he put them there for me to share with you. She sent us photos of the 3 phallic cement blobs encrusted in the pavement of LA, and since then, we've seen dozens and dozens of street dicks. I do have photographic evidence of these signs, but even 26 years after leaving this place, I still have too much respect for Brent Wagner and Jerry DePuitt to put that kind of collage on the screen. As I was preparing to write this speech, it occurred to me that in order to see the signs that Gav is leaving for us, we have to be outside, usually walking, and walking slow enough to notice our surroundings and pay attention to them. I think he likes taking walks with us, and it reminds me of his song from Walk On Through, Unfinished World. He says, I hold an unfinished world in my heart, one I've been waiting to see, and I'll leave the old one to stories and art, and I'll carry through if I know that you'll walk with me. Gavin, we will walk with you forever until our legs don't work anymore. We will tell your stories, and we will celebrate your art, cherish your signs, and embody your faith in us. While we are alive, we will live. We will celebrate our collective 50th birthday in New Orleans just like we planned. I'm sure you'll send us lots of signs there. And we will love you and walk with you always. Always and forever, the 20. Thank you. Thank you. When it came to performing, Gav was the total package, the voice, the charm, the charisma. Lucky for all of us, there is a wealth of video of Gavin in all kinds of venues, on stage, at benefits, in concert, even in the rain. Let's enjoy and remember him in performances from throughout his incredible.
I got life, mother. I got laughs, sister. I got freedom, my brother. I got good times, man. I got crazy ways, daughter. I got $1 million charm, cousin. I got headaches, toothaches, and bad times too, like you. I got my head, I got my head, I got my brains, I got my ears, I got my heart, I got my nose, I got my mouth, I got my teeth. I got my tongue, I got my chin, I got my neck, I got my feet, I got my heart, I got my soul, I got my back, I got my head.
Millions of people, pick any two, they could be just like you and me used to be. Way back when, strangers. Then I turned the corner, and there you stood. Your smile like home to me, your heart familiar. No use pretending, not that I could. I turned the corner when I met you. I turned the corner, stopped on a dime, like I remembered someone long forgotten. No mere flirtation, no marking time. I turned the corner when I met you, when I met you. Put on your Sunday clothes, there's lots of world out there. Get out the Brilliantine and dime cigars. Come here, buddy. We're gonna find adventure in the evening air. Girls in white in a perfume night where the lights are bright as the stars. Put on your Sunday clothes, we're gonna ride through town in one of those new horse-drawn open cars. We'll see the shows and Delmonico's, and we'll close the town in a whirl, and we won't go home until we've kissed a girl. All right, let's go find ourselves a puppy Barnaby. Maybe I'm brainless, maybe I'm wise, but you got me seeing through different eyes. Somehow I've fallen under your spell, and somehow I'm feeling it's up that I fell. Every moment, as long as you're mine, I'll wake up my body and make up for lost time. Say there's no future for us as a parent. Though I may know I don't care.
Give me a kiss, Pookie.
It won't work. I look before I leap. I love margins and discipline. I make lists in my sleep. Baby, what's my sin? Never quit. I follow through. I hate mess, but I love you. What to do with my impromptu, baby? So be wise, cause this girl satisfies. You got a prize and don't compromise. You're a lucky baby. Oh, take me for long as you have me. I do promise you do. You matter to me. You see, you matter to me. In the meadow we can build a snowman
and pretend that he is Parson Brown.
He'll say, are you married? We'll say,
No, man.
but you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire
As we dream by the fire,
to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. So, how's that Christmas list coming?
still 1 or 2 items short.
How many you got so far?
73. What? I think it's nice to give Santa lots of options.
Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire. Am I boring you? To face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland. That God has a plan for all of us. I believe that plan involves me getting my own planet. And I believe that the current president of the church, Thomas Monson, speaks directly to God. I am a Mormon, and dang it, a Mormon just believe. Give your wife a little kiss from Kodai. I never met her, but I will. By and by. Though I hate leaving you, hate leaving your warm, intimate club. It's a small pleasure, but I'll treasure each warm, intimate sub. It's been grand, let me say, and let me say au revoir, not goodbye. For it's grand knowing you'll all be working for your friend Kodai. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all, till there was you.
Our next speaker certainly needs no introduction, as he is very well known to all of us. But perhaps we owe him an additional measure of gratitude for spotting the potential of Gavin when he was just a young high school senior, and then offering him a place in the department. Please join me in welcoming Emeritus Professor and longtime Chair of the Musical Theater Department, Brent Wagner.
Thank you. One of the questions I've often been asked in recent years is, could I tell as soon as Gavin walked in the door for his audition that he would turn out to be a star? Well, now that was 30 years ago, and in those days, Jerry DePuitt and I saw the vocal auditions in a small classroom in the music building. The hallways were noisy and chaotic, And into the room came a lanky, energetic young man from Ohio with a bundle of instructions for Jerry at the piano. Before launching into a 60s pop ballad called Call Me Irresponsible. I knew the song as a Sinatra hit, but Gavin's approach was a sort of swinging Las Vegas Bobby Darin style, with lots of movement. The only thing missing was a microphone. Still, in Gavin's version of the song, we could hear his incredible vocal potential and see his steadfast, almost ferocious commitment. We worked with him to focus his energy and asked him to think a bit more about the words, all the while remembering that 17 years old is still mighty young. Even without predicting that he would become a star, we knew that he had something unique. The impression Gavin made was certainly strong enough to ensure that he received a major scholarship, which, as you heard earlier this afternoon, had a huge impact on him. Well, of course, Gavin did come to Michigan. That was in the fall of 1994, and he soon found himself, along with his classmates, working backstage on our first production of the year, Sunday in the Park with George, which I was directing in the Mendelssohn Theater. This was a tradition. Every year, I assigned the first-year students to the running crew of the first show. I knew that Gavin had a lively personality and charisma, which I thought might include leadership, so I assigned him to one of the most challenging and important jobs of all, light board operator. Well, that was a bit of a stretch. And I'm not sure which one of us ended up with more panic attacks. A single button on the board, of course, could leave everyone in the dark. On one of the performance nights, when Gavin arrived for his pre-check call, the entire light board had completely frozen and was inoperable. Poor Gavin was truly in a state of panic. Don't forget, he'd only been at the school for a month at that point. And I'm sure he thought that his career was over and he'd soon be hitchhiking his way back to Ohio. Even though the problem with the board was not actually of his making. Well, after a frantic search, the head lighting technician was located and the board was finally restored, and off we went with the performance, feeling years older than when we had arrived. I didn't steer Gavin back to tech work after that. But I did work with him as a performer in shows like A Tribute to Noel Coward, Sweeney Todd, and one of my own favorite shows, The Music Man. As Harold Hill, Gavin was not only the lead character, but he was a true leader, setting the tone that allowed River City, Iowa to come alive in every rehearsal and performance. I was especially grateful for this since I had witnessed Gavin as a sophomore in our Power Center production of Grand Hotel. At that time, the stage management team had to speak to Gavin quite firmly about the need for patience and professionalism during tech rehearsals. Of course, in all fairness, there was an awful lot of chair moving on stage for the cast members in Grand Hotel. In those early years of the musical theater program, we decided to start the audition days with a group meeting of the prospective students and their parents, allowing the current students and me to talk about the department. We spoke of Michigan's goal to maximize each student's talent in a nurturing, carefully structured university environment, and of being part of something larger than oneself, of a non-competitive atmosphere in classes and productions, and of expressing gratitude sincerely and often. As I think back now on Gavin's student days, from that initial audition to his final university performance at graduation, and certainly in all the years that followed, I realize all the ways in which Gavin reflected the goals and philosophies of the department. And I myself am filled with gratitude. Gratitude, for example, that Gavin remained deeply dedicated to Michigan all through the years, and that he returned so many times to work with the students. As recently as last February, he was here to direct a new show, one that he had written and largely developed with the students. Gavin had a true gift for teaching, I think largely because of his irrepressible curiosity and his belief that every process was one of discovery for both the teacher and the student. His faith in the students allowed them to work fearlessly and with confidence as he reminded them not to look sideways, comparing themselves to others, but to look forward, developing their own unique talents. Of course, to the students, Gavin was a superstar, and most of them were so much in awe of him that they couldn't focus on anything till they helped him to relax. Even that was one of his strengths. No student could ever stay intimidated by Gavin for long. He wouldn't allow it. As one of them recalled, they say never to meet your heroes, but I'm sure glad I met Gavin. Adding to my own gratitude for Gavin, when I retired as chair in 2016, Gavin helped to spearhead one of the largest Michigan celebrations surely in the history of the school, the Maize and Blue on Broadway concert, in which hundreds of graduates attended and dozens performed. For all of us, it was the event of a lifetime. Though many graduates participated in the planning, Gavin's passion was at the forefront. Talk about contributing to something larger than oneself. Gavin reminded everyone that we were all coming together out of love for the school, unconcerned about who had or hadn't performed on Broadway or who may have even left the field altogether. Gavin's goal was to bring the graduates together in celebration and homecoming. But he also wanted to leave something concrete to benefit the students in the coming years. With that in mind, the event raised the funding to establish a permanent speaker series at the school in my name. To say that I'm personally grateful, not only for the New York concert, but for the speaker series, is the understatement of a lifetime. Gavin's own gratitude for the financial support he received during his college years prompted him, along with Celia Keenan-Bolger, a 2000 graduate, to establish a scholarship for musical theater majors who are service-oriented. For Gavin, activism was just as important as any aspect of the arts. For example, in October 2009, when he was appearing on Broadway in Hair, he convinced the producers, managers, and the entire company of the show to cancel a Sunday matinee so that the cast and crew could attend and perform a march for gay rights in Washington, D.C. My God, we have to go. We have to go. Gavin said in an interview in the New York Times, "We'll get on the bus at 11 on Saturday night after the show and get there in time for the sound check at 4:30 in the morning." The clearances, the logistics, the details, and most of all, the approval for an expensive decision to skip a popular weekend performance at the beginning of the theater season, all of these should have made an event like this an impossibility. But not for Gavin. During the years when Gavin was in school, it seemed to me that his musical taste was in contemporary works, not in the classic musical theater shows. And at several points, I heard him even talk of leaving the field altogether so that he could write songs and perform in a rock band. When we did The Music Man, I tried to show him that the craft, the detail, the thrilling ingenuity of the writing were not only to be appreciated, but also were to be cherished. And maybe those lessons had an impact. As it turned out, many of Gavin's legendary professional performances were in revivals of these wonderful shows. Hello, Dolly, She Loves Me, Mary Poppins, Hair, La Cage aux Folles, Into the Woods. Even Thoroughly Modern Millie, though a new show, recalled an earlier musical era. These productions struck me as a gift to all of us. For not only was Gavin's golden voice giving an opportunity to soar in these shows, but the depth of his acting brought new life to these classic musicals. Looking back now on all these years and experiences, I've often thought of Gavin as a modern-day George Bailey, the hero of It's a Wonderful Life, particularly in the way that he had such a powerful impact on all the lives he touched. But I'm also reminded of the wonderful words Marion Peru says at the end of The Music Man, when she asked the people of River City to remember River City before Harold Hill arrived. "Do you remember?" she says. "Well, do you? Surely you ought to be grateful to him for what he brought to River City." Well, I certainly remember what Gavin brought to River City and what he brought to the theater industry, and especially what he brought to Michigan. So Gavin, this is your own Wagner thank you note. which I send to you with all my heart. Thank you.
Friends, I am so thrilled to introduce one of the treasures of the musical theater department. We are so happy he is here today to play several songs from roles that Gavin has played on Broadway. Please welcome Emeritus Professor Jerry Depute. Jerry, thank you. In 2020, Gavin received a commission from the Metropolitan Museum of Art to create. They gave him a membership card, access to the museum, which he had never visited, and told him to see what would happen. What happened was the stunning show, Walk On Through, for which he wrote music, lyrics, and book, and also starred in. And did lights, and no. It focused on various works in the museum, how they reflected his life, and how they made him feel. On a podcast last year, I asked Gavin what it felt like to be shifting more and more into writing. He said, it's easy to go to a place of, am I enough? Are my ideas enough? And my answer to myself is always, of course, because no one else is you. Here Now is one of the most striking songs from that piece, inspired by the painting you will see in the video.
I know we're not supposed to talk or I just wanted to
She stands alone and knows the only thing that matters is the music that she's holding. She's been in practice rooms for hours with the piano and the musical director and his nasty old assistant. This is the moment that she's only dreamt before. But now the life she's known will change forevermore as she takes a breath and holds it in and tries to make it seem like she's not really nervous. While on her neck she feels the stare from the director who's been tearing her to pieces while he prays that she'll succeed. Within her sight a room of light and expectation. But now she feels the bliss of this anticipation as she sings. She sings. She sings. The organ swells with heaven's sound, and all around the room is majesty and wonder. Two women listen and react, one seething jealously, the other watching gently, as if dazed by what she hears. They didn't know that she was magical and rare, until the moment when her voice would fill the air. And now see the face of the producer, how he looks to us as if to ask the question, can you believe her? Have you ever heard a voice like that? I'll tell you, no, you haven't. You should know that I will make this girl a star. As he sees dollar signs and lines out every door. Now all I see is her like me forevermore. As we sing, we sing, we sing. She'll find a thrill upon that ride to heights so high as fate collides with what she has inside of her, with every note and every word. I've seen the faces gazed in awe. I've heard the cheers at curtain call. A life lived unlike anything. But is that why I sing? Why I sing? Why do I sing?
And then I see him standing there behind the others. It's the quiet young composer. He can't believe what he is witnessing, the music simply soaring to the heavens in this magical embrace. And as I look and wonder what he's dreaming of, right then I see that he's the one I long to love. That's why I sing. I sing. That's why I sing. I sing. I sing and
The best thing about meeting young people who want to do acting, singing, dancing, go to Broadway, be performers, is their willingness and their courage. What they discover in that moment is inspiring to me and is inspiring, I hope, to them and to their classmates. So there's this amazing energy that like crackles through the room. And when somebody makes it, oh wow, I did that, or oh, I didn't know I could hit that note, or I just think that's the goods. That's what I'm lucky to be able to do for a living. And I hope that the thing I'm able to leave them with is possibility, for them to feel more empowered, and that I'm demystifying this thing that seems magical and untouchable. I was just talking to some of the students, and they're just so hungry and so wanting to get it right and so hard on themselves. And I think we all are in every profession, and especially this, when you're putting yourself out in front of people, and it's vulnerable. And I hope that when they come to the class, they leave feeling a little more possible and a little more powerful.
Our next speakers are two of Gavin's closest musical collaborators. They performed with him in Walk On Through and were in residence in our department in the past 2 years with Gavin to help develop his next show, Loud Night. We are so grateful that they have traveled back here today. Please welcome Madeline Benson and Chris Peters.
Hello. Thank you so much to all of you for having us. In the time since Gavin passed away, I've been surprised to notice that one of the many things that I've been feeling is jealous. So many people I know, including so many people in this room, got to meet Gavin when he was in a capacity as a teacher or a student, which, as so many of you have spoken to already, he viewed more or less as the same thing. I met him as the hired guitar player at a cocktail party. I had a friend who was a singer-songwriter, and she was playing a couple songs, and the next morning I got a text message that said, "This is Gavin Creel, I'd like to play music with you sometime." And I was quite sure that it was some kind of practical joke. And even over the course of getting to know him, I was faced with this imposter syndrome that so many of us know, because who even was this guy? How do you encapsulate it? He's the singer and a writer and a smile with an impossibly large wingspan. How do you? I was lucky to get to come here with him and find out. Oh, of course, he's a teacher. He's a teacher by example. I'm going to tell you about two things that he taught me. By the way that he lived and the way he worked with all of you. One was Gavin believed very deeply in hard work. He did. He understood the value of showing up early. He understood the value of knowing everyone's name. He rewrote things that he was writing in a way that I've never seen before. Draft 17 and will appear in the bottom of something. You're like, yeah, wow. He would do that. But what he did not believe in was the idea that hard work was about making yourself or making what you do into something other than you or other than itself, into something else that is good. He did not believe in that. He, in fact, believed in being trusting and sharing yourself. He made us and our students this spring learn this statement by Martha Graham, which many of them I'm sure could recite to you in full, but to paraphrase, the thrust of it is that the point of making art is not to make something good, it's to make something that's yours, because you're the only one who can do that. He believed that. And if any of you thought that he made it look easy, as I certainly did sometimes, I also had the benefit of watching how much work went into the version of that he was doing with you all. How scared it made him to every day bring in something new, some new unfinished little bit of his soul that he didn't know if it was any good or not. I watched him be afraid of that, and I watched him do it anyway. Gavin believed that being trusting and sharing yourself was natural and terrifying and courageous and worth it. I'm honored to have seen him teach this here, and I'm honored to have been taught this by him.
It's so easy to talk about Gavin as a teacher because he just loved it so, so much. Gavin and I met in 2016 teaching together at a magical place called the Performing Arts Project that convened in Winston-Salem, North Carolina for a few weeks every summer. And even in summers that Gavin was on a Broadway production contract, he would fly down on a Sunday night and teach all day Monday as much as he could and make it back for his Tuesday show. He was so dedicated to that community as he was to this one. I remember feeling that what made Gavin a good teacher was the same quality that made him a good actor and writer, which is that he didn't think he knew how to do it at all. He was just trying to communicate the lessons that he felt he himself was learning at that whatever juncture of his life you caught him in. Personal lessons, artistic lessons. As Chris said, teaching and being a student were kind of all the same thing for him. We all loved Gavin for his spontaneity and his attitude of, we'll figure it out when we get there, whatever happens, happens, which would often stress me out when it's like, this concert is in 1 hour. But I have to say, when it came to teaching, it was a bit of an exception to the rule. He would pore over lesson plans. I mean, anything he was going to bring to students, nothing was ever going to be good enough because he wanted to cram so much into every class, every moment of rehearsal. And it was it brought out this rigor in him that was so amazing to see. We're going to close out today's celebration singing a song of Gavin's about gratitude. And so I just wanted to speak a word of gratitude to this community. We're guests here. We had never been to Michigan before Gavin brought us in tow a couple years ago. And now we love it so much. We wear Michigan swag more than Go Blue. Yeah. We just, even in this awful few months that we're all having, we just immediately knew that our celebration of his life wouldn't be complete without coming here to be here for this event. And I just want to thank Cynthia and her whole team. The juggle of grief with this sort of line producer, project management. It's anyone who's ever had to juggle that just knows how sort of disorienting that can be, and we're really grateful. It's impossible to capture what Michigan meant to Gavin, but one memory that came to mind, the night before Loud Night rehearsals started this year, we went to Target, and Gavin bought 3 candles. He actually bought way more candles, but he bought 3 candles that said dreamer, artist, and go-getter. And when we got back to our Airbnb house, we were deciding who was gonna take which one to their room. And as a trio, each of us slot sort of naturally into one of these candles. We didn't really even have to say it. Gavin the dreamer, me the go-getter, and Chris the artist. But what we decided to do was rotate those to the word that we were going to give ourselves permission to be during our time here. So Chris took go-getter, I took dreamer, and Gavin took artist. And the way Michigan continued to track with him in his artistic journey made him feel like so much more than just a performer or a wannabe songwriter or anything. When he was here, he was a visionary and a director and had all these big plans. And just from us, it's to watch a friend flourish and spread their wings into their full artistic identity. It was a miracle to watch, and we could never express how grateful we are that Michigan gave him a place to be the word artist. Before we sing the song of Gavin's, we wanted to share just a little behind the scenes footage of us developing Loud Night here at Michigan.
But I want to make something on stage that I would like to exist in the world. And it's called a Loud Night Party. Something I think could heal the world. And it's basically all it is this idea I have in my head that there is this like warehouse somewhere in the city that is abandoned, and that this man, his name is Benny Moonbeat, and he throws this Loud Night party once a month, every time there's a full moon. When the full moon arrives in the sky, this little band of people who might be strangers to it, these little misfit toys, all different kinds, all go to this place at midnight, and the party starts at midnight and it ends at dawn. When the sun rises, everybody disperses and they never see each other again. But they come to the Loud Night, and this is the place, my whole thesis is this is where you come to be seen and heard and set free. It's the simplest thing, but I believe it to be true, and I think it's what theater ultimately is about.
We were in LA and we went to this totally legit tattoo parlor to get this both. It says both in Gavin's handwriting, and sometimes we write it in Sharpies on our wrist too. And I think that's a key idea to how we work together. I feel like when we're trying to decide on ideas, one of us usually says, well, why not both? Or what if there's another way? What if there's like a third way? And then being at Michigan, I feel like Gavin and I met teaching together, and I feel like it's both an educational opportunity for these students and an educational opportunity for us.
Oh my gosh.
And so we really relish the sort of like gray area of every situation we find ourselves in.
Mm-hmm. My hope as a writer and our hope as a creative team was to come here to the festival and be able to be a part of something new with the students, to discover, to see what we could find. And we found so much more. We came with themes, ideas, songs, and we are leaving here with not only like a skeleton structure of the piece, but we discovered the title. We discovered that what was once untitled is now Loud Night, the musical.
Yeah, I got you. I got you, baby. Just trust me. Let me in, let it begin. Let's turn up the sound. Let me in and let you spin your world all around. Let me in and let me win. I know what to do. Just let me in. 'Cause I'm coming for you.
I was dropping my resume at every Broadway theater like stage door without a cover letter, and I just ran into Gavin Creel, and he immediately, with no hesitation, just told me to keep going and pursue theater. Before COVID, we had arranged for him to come to a workshop at my high school. He was very pushing me to be the best theater artist that I can be. I would not be at the University of Michigan without him. And I didn't know that he was going to be hosted as a guest director for New Works. So the second that I heard that he was coming, I was like, this is such a full circle moment, very meant to be, very cosmically charged.
Who am I, standing here on this nice, divine and queer, spilling rhyme and jamming like I do?
He has had such expansive experience in the industry, and with that has garnered kind of an arsenal of what are the important things to learn and what do you really need to know for yourself going into that. I mean, one of his things was TCTCTS. You have to have the courage to conjure the silly. And
I love that, the courage to conjure the silly.
yeah, and that was one of his biggest things of take with you is if you can show that you're just willing to just go there for anything, that is valuable to other artists who also want to create, because not only are you showing them that you are willing to play, you're showing them that you have enough self-assuredness in your own self to be vulnerable in that way.
Second story, the first story is he came back and he looked at me and just was like, I don't know what I just saw. And I was like, neither do I. And he said, I need you to know how important your show was for me. And I went, what do you mean? I came out 6 weeks ago. Oh my God. And then he started to cry, and I just went, Andy. And I held him, and he's like, it's really hard, but the show healed me. Coming backstage at your opening, saying that he felt seen and heard. He used those words. Carter heard him. I was like, and I would say set free. And I thought, then there it is. Everything we've done together has been worth it. And Carter said, wasn't it you that said if it doesn't go anywhere else past this day? And I was like, curse you. But if it doesn't go past it, he said, our job is done. We changed one person's life. And if we don't have the TCTCTS, it sounds silly, but if we don't have the courage to believe that one life changed is worth being a musical theater major, is worth telling stories, is worth caring, then what are we doing?
Uninhibited.
Love.
Joy.
Silly.
Empowering.
Open. Kind. Playful.
Courage.
Freeing.
Evolution.
This is your stop.
I can't go back again. But he says, remember when and how. When is when. Once it comes to that, there's no never when.
are you grateful for?
My friends, that's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm grateful for my abilities because they feel so tenuous. It feels so borrowed and so. I'm grateful that people care about my abilities. That is a gratitude that I don't know that I'm ever really thanked the world enough for. That people care about theater. That people seem to care about when I get on stage and try to make you laugh or make you cry or sing. That people care. I'm really grateful that people care and that I get the opportunity to do it so that I can feel that love and that care. That is a gift that I wish everybody who ever wanted to be on Broadway or perform, I hope they get to feel that because it is a gratitude I am humbled by.
Set this down for now. I don't know how I will, but I'll look to the clouds and I'll hold still. This all seemed make-believe. Tonight was everywhere, but somehow I can breathe 'cause you're there.
Recalling all I've known from this familiar view. Though I feel all alone, I know there's you. What I can't seem to say, somehow you just know. So we in silence stay and let it go. And I am grateful. I am amazed. I am grateful for your kindness. You see it all around, a chance for something new. I'm still here on the ground with no clue. You smile and take my hand with power and victory. I'll try to understand through you and me. And I am grateful. I am amazed. I am grateful for your kindness. We will change and we will grow, and in our sadness love stays and breaks apart. But kindness heals the heart. Kindness heals my heart. In this quiet now, I forgive it all. And for your love, somehow it was worth the fall. And with an open heart, I will watch you grow. For this is just my story. Please know that I am grateful. I am amazed. I am grateful.
In the spirit of gratitude, I would like to just share some thanks with a few people who have helped so much in putting this memorial together. Thank you to Andrew Keenan-Bolger, Carter Van Erp, Lynn Schenkel, and Sly Pup Productions for their help with all of the video editing. To Ben Whiteley, Brent Wagner, and Rachel Hoffman, and Nancy Uffner for all of their care in helping plan this event, along with our amazing Walgreen administrative team, Catherine Pamela, Tyler Brunsman, Nikki Smith, and Ari Shaw. This could not have happened today without you. Thank you to Sly Pup for the filming and the live stream. Thank you also, special thanks to our U of M prop shop, Patrick and Danny, who crafted each of these arrangements here. And I encourage you all, when you leave, look really closely at them because they are each representing a show that Gavin is in, and the level of detail in each of these, which you can't probably see from where you are, is so beautiful, right down to the patch that is on the front of the Sweeney Todd arrangement, which you can tell because all the flowers are dead. The patch on the front of that vase is the patch from 1997 that Gavin wore on his costume. So please take a look at those on your way out, and thank you to Patrick and Danny in the U of M prop shop for crafting those. As we come to the close of today's celebration, I just want to share something that Gavin said to me the last time we spoke in July. He said in his very Gavin urgent and high-stakes way, "Cynthia, there is not enough time on this earth to be anything but kind to each other." And the fact that that was the last phone call that I had with him, let's carry that legacy of kindness forward, not just in our memories, but in our actions, in the way we support and care for one another. Thank you, Gavin, for being such a shining example of kindness and gratitude. And by the way, someone like Gavin doesn't just come from nowhere. He is a product of a wonderful family who has loved and supported him throughout his life. And to all of his family, please know that the hearts of this Michigan family are with all of you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being a part of this Michigan community. We invite you to join us for a reception where, in Gav's honor, we're having a bunch of pizza. It's going to be down the hall in Studio 2. And I'm hoping that we hear maybe the rest of the R-rated stories that we haven't yet heard today. Now, thanks to the editing and generosity of Andrew Keenan-Bolger, we have one final video to share with you.